In the second quarter, down 10-0, the Chiefs had a field goal drive that was pretty long, at least play-wise, a 16-play drive, during which they had 2 fourth-down conversions. Those plays were interesting in the way that they were designed and the way they kind of played off of each other. So let's take a look at those fourth-down plays. The first one comes with 12-12 to go in the second quarter. Chiefs have a 4th and short at their own about 43-yard line. Now, the first thing is that the Chiefs typically on their short yardage packages over the last couple years have played with a fullback. So they've often had a running back lined up deep, and they'll have a fullback in the offset I on one side or the other, usually not in a true I formation, meaning like right behind the quarterback, but they'll be offset to one side. Then they do, a couple years ago, they were just running that fullback dive, handing it to the fullback immediately and going forward. Then they started doing some play off of that. They did have a short period of time where they were running QB sneaks with a tight end. But I don't recall that many times in their short yardage where they just, instead of going with the 22 personnel, that is 2 running backs and 2 tight ends, they went with 13 personnel, which is 1 running back and 3 tight ends. And that's what they have here. So this was unusual. So the running back here is Kareem Hunt. The tight ends are Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, and actually Jalen Moore, the backup tackle. He is in as an eligible player, so he ends up being like the 3rd tight end here. So if you see the Chiefs offensive linemen, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on top of that offensive lineman lined up is Jalen Moore. So he's an eligible receiver. He's considered a tight end here. That's why he can be uncovered on the end of the line. So Kelsey's on one end, Jalen Moore on the other. Juju Smith-Schuster is their wide receiver for this play. So let's take a look at what they do, and then we'll break it down. So Mahomes is under center. He sends Gray in motion, then brings him back. The handoff is to Hunt, who goes around the end for a pretty easy first down. So the way that the Chiefs do this seems like it's by design. This isn't a situation where Hunt read the situation and decided to bounce outside. I wonder if he had a huge hole up the middle. I'm sure he probably would have taken it. But if you notice, Kingsley starts this play pulling. And so they block in as if, the Chargers are anticipating something right up the middle, in their A-gaps. They're protecting up the middle. And you see that even with how new defenders are coming in, right? Everybody is coming in expecting something right up the gut. But Kingsley is pulling, and he's not pulling coming up like usual. He's pulling all the way around the end. And so this looks like a designed play to create some attention up the middle, but ultimately, and if you see Kareem Hunt takes kind of that initial false step and then starts following his puller. So an interesting play design where they kind of create a huge logjam up the middle, and they enlist one lineman to help lead the running back around it. And so Kingsley's kind of there. I think this initial slow play is partially just because Jawan Taylor gets pushed back off the ball. I wonder if Kingsley would have hit this a little harder or whether he was intentionally trying to play it slow across. Either way, he did play it slow across because he almost ran into Jawan Taylor. And then did a good job of leading Hunt. He took the inside guy as 2 guys were rolling off, giving Hunt a little bit of extra time. And Hunt made it quite easily for a first down. So again, interesting play design. Where you see the defense is compressing and taking advantage of that. You have the guard pulling around. And as he pulls around, pretty easy for Kareem Hunt to go and get that first down. So the first short yardage play of the year, pretty different from usual. The Chiefs have never been opposed to trying going around the edges in short yardage situations. But a lot of times, especially in the fourth down situations, they just send like a fullback or somebody up the gut. So seeing that there wasn't even a second running back on the field, no Carson Steele, or no using Kareem Hunt as like that second running back was interesting. Instead, they brought in an extra tackle and kind of created the impression of going up the middle, but took it to the outside. And now later in the same drive, the Chiefs again have a 4th and short and again come out in the same formation. In fact, the only change from the previous one is the wide receiver has changed. It went from Juju Smith-Schuster to Hollywood Brown. Otherwise, we got the same thing. We got 1 running back, 3 tight ends, technically. That's 13 personnel. Jalen Moore is the eligible lineman who's in as a tight end. Hollywood Brown making sure not to cover him up. He comes back, so because Moore is an eligible receiver on this play, so you can't cover an eligible receiver on the line. That's why Gray and Brown are set back. And let's take a look at this play and see how it differed from the last one. So again, they send Gray in the same motion, coming back, and it's the old fake the handoff and throw it right to the running back. This is something that the Chiefs have done before, both with Hunt in his first stint in Kansas City and with Damian Williams. I believe Jerick McKinnon has run this play as well. But I don't remember it that much on this kind of 4th and short situation. So it's often actually a goal line, like a red zone kind of play that the Chiefs run. No, I don't remember seeing it much in the middle of the field, but it's again, you create the impression coming out from under center, get everybody coming up. Anyone who would account for the running back is probably a linebacker here that's getting caught up in the muck. So then as you roll out, there's just too much space, too much ground to cover for the defenders. And they've got Kelsey, Gray, and Brown all going out in routes. So in case like the Chargers jump all over this and are there, this actually could have been a very interesting play for the Chiefs because Hollywood Brown would have had a great shot at the corner route, and Travis Kelsey wins in the middle too. So obviously this is one thing to always remember. This is a progressions game, right? So if your first read is there, you're going to take it. This is clearly Mahomes' first read. Kareem Hunt's wide open. He's going to get the first down. Mahomes is never going to look here. But if Hunt were covered, this could have been exciting because this route is topped, but if a throw to the outside is probably a big gain, possibly a touchdown. And Kelsey comes open over the middle too. Of course, not necessary. The Chiefs got a first down on their first read, but it's a very interesting play, and it'll be fun to see if they kind of break further wrinkles out of this formation as they get into their short yardage situations later in the year. There it is from this view, and again, look at how open Kelsey and Brown were able to get. I mean, it's probably a little disingenuous to show it now, but here, if you see Kelsey is going to have an opportunity to break open, Brown too. Could have been exciting. So let's see what happens. Maybe in a future 4th down situation, the easy first down read will be covered, and we'll see what Mahomes cooks up. But it was interesting to see this new formation used for the 4th down situation. Similar formation for both of them. 2 different plays coming out of them. I'm sure there'll be more throughout the course of this season.